Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave, and I forgot to turn off that dumb light again. Let me turn it off. I was hustling till the last second to get ready for this. And you might have noticed on the intro there, it was kind of a short intro. So anyway, I do have a few things to show and tell today, and I'm kind of excited about the one thing that I'm making right now. Some of you will think it's a little less than exciting, but that's pretty much the way it is with everything you do. Before we get into it today, just mention that JR had another baby foal born, a baby horse, a foal born on his farm this morning. In fact, it was just a few hours back. He has shown it live on his Patreon page, and I imagine he'll be showing it live on the other part of the, for the general public very shortly. But that's all I'm allowed to divulge right now, is that they do have a new baby. We have visitors here presently from Germany. Peter and his wife, and I know I'll butcher her last name, her name, because I can't remember exactly, but it's something like Bretta or something like that. But I messed that up. I'm just sure that's not right. But anyway, they're out. I think they went out to explore the big city of Rolla today, so they're not here right now. But Peter did help me on this little project that I'm building. He made a couple of real key suggestions that made it a little bit easier for me and made it turn out a little bit better. And we'll get to that in a minute. But first thing is that I thought, what the heck, I'll just give you a different perspective on, my surroundings here, like especially straight through this side window here. So I thought I'd just show you this little short video clip. Hope you enjoy this. Thought I'd show you the game room here. I've mentioned before that we have this pool table. It's 8'4" from bumper to bumper, 8'4" from the inside bumper here to that bumper, and 4'2" from this bumper to that bumper. So it's pretty good size. The boys are here. I see a cue ball on the floor. So normally this table is covered. I don't even see the cover right now, so I don't know where that went. Maybe Sue's washing it or something? That's weird. Oh, it's probably over on the table maybe. Anyway, here's the bowling machine that we bought with the house also. It's a really old machine. It does technically work. You got to monkey with the controls here on this end I don't remember, to get it started or something. So we don't play with it. Nobody ever plays it, but it does function, I think. You can see all kinds of animal things. Here's a hornet's nest and, I don't know, stuff laying everywhere. This is a 42-inch. When it was new and fresh and stretched out, it was 42 inches long. Copperhead that we killed here on the farm. And if anybody knows anything about this bowling machine, be sure to put it in the comments. Just thought I'd give you a different perspective. And there is the man cave. You can see my desk in there. Here's the big article that was written about my great-great-great-grandparents. Franklin Rosa, Italian immigrant, was one of the Reynolds County pioneers. It's a whole article all about him and his life. It's really interesting. I think that's posted on my website, by the way. Here's an old phone that was given to us by our photographer friend. He had cut a hole in it, wouldn't you know, to put peanut butter and seed, bird seed on here. And he would have his birds standing up here, and he would take pictures of birds and things. So I plugged the hole with a piece of oak to try to match it as best I could, but you can still see it, of course. This is a bobcat I took here on the farm. I wanted to have a quail. The bobcat trying to catch a quail. And the taxidermist that had this, he got in very poor health, and he just stuck a pheasant on it. He already had a pheasant mounted, and so he put that on there. Wasn't my preference at all, but just what I got. It's kind of my typical luck. Here's the cover for the pool table. The rest of this is pretty much just junk. This is just a storage area. We don't use this area of the house, although the kids do play pool and stuff here quite a bit. But here's an old toboggan. I'm sure that came from Jack, the photographer, also. There's a lot of things that have come from Jack. He was just a great guy. By the way, this broad axe was a axe by my mother's grandfather, I think. At least it was from her father for sure. Arnold Sconce was his name. He's the one that I wrote the song Grandpa's Old Fiddle about. But it's just neat to have this broad axe. Now this broad axe, this is what you use. If you can see it, you notice that the handle is kind of offset to one side. This is, and it's only beveled on one side. It's for shaving flat logs. In other words, you would go down the log like this and shave off the sides of the log and make the logs square. That's what this is for, a broad axe. That's the only real purpose of that type of axe. Oh, let me just show you these deer antler here. There's one that's just ginormously huge. That's this one. This is so much bigger than you can imagine. It's just huge. It doesn't look that much bigger than this, but the diameter around this is so much. Look, even out here on the end, as big as long as my fingers are and hands, it barely reaches around there. It's just amazing how big this is. It's huge. It's so heavy. My dad found this up by Chesterfield Mall in the St. Louis County area. Crazy. Then these other two giant ones, and they're just about as big, almost as big anyway. These two are a matched pair, and I'll lay them down gently on the pool table here. These two are a matched pair, and JR and his friend saw the deer drop both of these at the exact same moment. The deer shook its head, and both of them fell off, and JR and the other guy had a foot race. Fortunately, the other guy was on crutches, so JR beat him to it. Otherwise, the other guy would have definitely got it, because JR is not that fast of a runner. That's pretty funny. But anyway, and then those are just other deer antler found on the farm. Those are the antler I haven't cut up because they have a little bit more of a special meaning, you know. But I guess that's it. I just thought I'd give you a little different view of stuff around here today. Hope you enjoyed it.
There you go. And if you're wondering about my hat, it says Moin. The story is Peter from Germany brought this hat for me, and he said that in northern Germany, the people up there don't talk much. They don't say a lot. You know, they don't talk a lot. He says they're very, short sentence type conversations. And he says instead of saying good morgen or whatever that word is that they say, and you guys know better than me, but you know how they have their typical greeting with usually two words. He says they just say moin. He says a person that says moin, moin talks a lot, he says. So anyway, that's apparently it's northern Germany, and it's a seaside town or whatever. And so he brought me this hat, and I'm glad to have it. It's a nice hat. He's like I mentioned, he also made some suggestions on this project I'm making, and we'll get to that in a minute here. I wanted to start by showing you these photos of the project. So this is kind of before the project started.
Thought I'd show you the game room.
Whoops, I clicked on the wrong thing. So here it is. And you can see my knife there, and you can see 2 pieces of steel above it. And those 2 pieces of steel above it were found in the dirt, buried, I don't know, probably at least 6 inches deep in the ground here on the farm. And so what is the project? Well, I'm making a new blade for that knife. Let me back up. Thought I'd show you I keep clicking the wrong thing. It's going to be one of them days. Anyway, I want to be very, 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 very clear about this, because the fellow that sent me this knife, he's already contacted Sue and said, well, if he doesn't like that knife, he can go back to the maker, and they'll, fix it, I was saying that it doesn't hold an edge. Well, I want to be really clear. I love this knife. I think it's the coolest knife I've ever had, and I'm so glad he gave it to me. I love it. But the truth of it is, it does not hold an edge. It just doesn't. I like the shape. I like the size. I like the fact that you push the button and it opens. I like all of that. I don't want to change anything like that. I don't want a new knife. I want this knife, but I just want it to have a really good blade. So in that little photograph that you just saw, I decided to, look for a piece of steel that would make a really, really great knife blade. So I went into all the scrap metal that I've been digging out of the ground, because I knew I had some stuff that was like what you'd call spring steel. And both of those pieces are basically spring steel. The one that at the very top, it's an actual spring off of probably a wagon seat or a buggy seat, possibly off of a car. It's possibly off a car. But it would be an old car if it was off of a car. The one between that top one, and the one in the middle there, if you will, is it's what they call a spring tooth harrow. It would have been kind of in a coil, and it would be hanging off of a machine that you would either pull with a tractor or pull with a horse. And you can see it just broke straight off, because spring steel doesn't generally bend, it breaks. I mean, it flexes, don't get me wrong. There's a difference between flexing and bending. Bending means it kind of permanently bends. Once you bend it, it's bent. This spring steel doesn't generally bend like that, unless you heat it up red hot, But as long as it's at normal room temperature, if you try to bend it, it's going to break. It's not going to bend. So that's why I pretty much knew both of those pieces were spring steel. So then the next step for me was, I wanted to make sure that I'm picking out just a real high quality piece of steel to build my knife blade out of. So what I did was I took one of those pieces and I heated it up red hot on the end there, and then I quenched it in cold water. And then I took a file, a regular file that you would use, and tried to cut it, and it would not cut. I mean, it wouldn't even cut at all. The file just slid right off of it. So I knew it was super hard. So I just did the first test, and as soon as I found the piece that was that hard, I didn't bother testing the other piece of steel. I just tested the first piece of steel. So now the question is, do you have an idea which one of those I tested and which one of them I made my knife blade out of? Well, I'll show you. See how much shorter it is? See how it's been cut off? That's what I'm making my knife blade out of, right there. Now, let me show you again. Here's what the old blade looked like. And here's what the new blade looks like. Whoops, I pulled the wrong one. There's the new blade. What do you think? I'm pretty excited about that. Now, let me explain something to you. If you don't know, stainless steel, I don't know. I don't think anybody should have ever made a knife out of stainless steel, and that's the truth. But almost all knives, There's exceptions, obviously. But most knives are made with stainless steel. Why? Because it's pretty, it doesn't tarnish, and all that, but it doesn't hold an edge. It just doesn't. You can say what you want, but it doesn't. Not the way I use a knife. I'm not your average user. I mean, 1 minute I'm, cutting a piece of baling twine. The next minute I'm scraping the inside out of a copper tubing to, cut the burr off of a piece of copper tubing. The next minute I'm cutting a piece of copper wire in half. That's tough on a knife. But that's just reality. That's how I use a knife. I don't use a knife to put it up on a shelf and look at it. I use it to use it. And I want it to hold up. So that's why I am making this knife blade. And it is going to be one fine knife. I guarantee you. Let me just explain it like this. I truly have not tried at all to sharpen this yet. And I guarantee you it's already sharper than this knife is. And I've sharpened this knife so many times, it ain't even funny. I bet I've sharpened this knife 50 times, and it just won't hold an edge. This, I haven't even tried to sharpen yet, and I guarantee you'll cut yourself on this sucker. And I haven't even tried to sharpen. All I've been doing is just, buffing it out and sanding it. In fact, Peter did most of the sanding on this, and then I buffed it after he got done sanding it. This weird shape here that you see, that was difficult, especially in a piece of steel that's this hard, to try to cut that out. So how did I cut that out? Well, that was Peter's suggestion. He suggested that we go ahead and cut this one out entirely. In other words, cut through it, because this one used to look like this. So we cut all the way through this and then use this as my pattern to route this one. And I did it with my Dremel tool. And you'll see all this in video coming down the road. But the way I would set the depth on my Dremel tool, I thought was pretty unique. I would take, I have the base on the Dremel tool, so it's like a router. And so I would set the base down on a piece of paper above this hole. Then I would plunge it down till it touched the bottom of the hole. And then I would lock that in place. And then I'd pull the paper out. And then it would, so in other words, it's dropping the thickness of a sheet of paper. And that's how I routed this. So I think of how many times I had to go around that circle to get that deep. This stuff's hard. And those bits, I broke 2 bits getting that done. But I got it done, and the spring does fit it. The spring that opens the blade, that's what that's for. And then the same basic thing had to be done on this side. There's a pocket that had to be routed out on this side as well, as you can see. And so I routed that out. We've gotten this far, and the truth is I have not tried a test fit yet. I'm assuming it's going to fit because it matches this pretty dadgum close. I mean, it's almost perfect. This one might be, well, I don't know. It's pretty dang close. It's just, if you line up the ends critically, it's pretty close. It looks in the camera here, it looks more off than it does here in person. But anyway, I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know if it's going to fit or not. I may have to do some tweaking. I hope it's going to work really well. But I'm really excited about having a knife that's really going to stand up to the test. And then I'm not even sure if I'm going to need to retemper this. I mean, I will probably, but I think I'm just going to sharpen it like it is because it's super hard the way it is. What I did was after I heated it up red hot and plunged it, well, then I heated it up red hot and then pounded it straight because that was a curved piece of steel. And I pounded it straight, and then I let it cool off gradually. That should have softened it quite a bit, and it did. I mean, at least it would file after I did that. You couldn't file it before that at all. But after I heated it up and let it cool slowly, you could file it. But surprisingly, it was super hard to machine this. It was really hard. So I'm tempted to not even try to process it heat-wise any further, at least for a while. I think I'll just sharpen it and use it and see how well it holds up. If it holds up, then fine, we're good. But if not, I'll temper that sucker, and trust me, it'll hold. It'll hold an edge. It's really good steel. But it's pretty amazing to me also that that turned into that. It's hard to believe in a way. If you just look at that, you'd think there ain't no way you could do anything with that. But it did. Turned into that. So I'm pretty happy with it. We'll see. There was another suggestion. Oh yeah, when we came to sanding this, Peter made the suggestion that I use that little handheld sander I have, that belt sander, that little thin narrow belt. He suggested using that. And, I always forget I have that thing. That's the truth of it. It made all kinds of sense once he said that. I went, oh, yeah, well, that would make sense to use that. So that's what I used. And sure enough, it was really good. I'm glad he was here because he saved me a lot of hassle. I'd have got it done, but he made it a lot easier. Peter is a good musician, a good singer, and he will probably appear on a vlog this week yet. They're staying here for, I think, 4 more nights. They've spent 1 night here so far. Okay, let's go through the comments. Joe Nigan, wishing everyone a pleasant Memorial Day. Yes, and I do want to acknowledge the fact that it is Memorial Day. I take my hat off to all of the veterans, all the service people. I just say thank you for doing what you do. For one thing, I didn't have to. I'm so glad you do. You're doing for all of us, really, and we appreciate it very much. A lot of good men have fought and died in the country. I know this isn't necessarily Veterans Day, but when you think of Memorial Day, wasn't Memorial Day what they used to call Flag Day? I think it was. And they would put flags on all the soldiers' graves and things. So to me, it's still, I think of Memorial Day as mostly a service thing, even though it is for also just remembering loved ones that have passed as well. Let's see. Then Bill Rhodes says, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Back to you. Dottie Hillebrand. Happy Memorial Day. Dottie's praying for us all. Thank you, Dottie, in the country. And boy, do we ever need it. And let's see. By the way, did you guys happen to hear in the news? I just happened upon it. I didn't see it anywhere. Nothing flashed up in front of me. I just kind of came upon it. North Korea, they launched a brand new warship, and that sucker flipped over and sank. I was so tickled to hear that. I hate I don't hate North Korea, the people. That stinking dictator they got, though. Oh my gosh, he is a scuzz bucket, and he is already, he's in the news. He's rounding up all the people that had anything to do with that launch. You can pretty much bet what's going to happen to them. At best, they're going to jail for life, and at worst, they'll probably be put to death. Knowing that scuzz bucket. So, but anyway, you can look it up. It's a definite fact that warship fell over and sunk. Gee, it was the way they launched it was the problem. Bill Rhodes, Jerry thoroughly enjoyed the video you put out over the weekend. Yeah, thank you. It seems like I put 2 out or just 1. I put 1 out on the firewood, and then I had 1 out just before that. Maybe I put that out last week. I can't remember. On making the sight for the gun. I think I showed that on Friday, so I guess I put that out before the weekend. But anyway, thank you for acknowledging. Dottie says, good video you put out over the weekend. Thank you. All right, and then after we went live, the first question marks I see, Bill Mumble says, Jerry, could you demonstrate how you massage your hands, please? Well, I just so happened to have it right here. Yeah, this is not going to be impressive. I just do what I do. This particular massager turns on, now that shows 80% power. I mean, I have 80% battery left is what that means. And then I just push this plus button. I go all the way to 30, which is the fastest setting it's got. So I go to 30, and then I literally just do that. I mean, I just go all over my hand like this, back and forth and around. I did it last night for a long time. After working on that knife yesterday, my hands were killing me. So, yeah, I do that all just like that. And then I'll tell you another thing is they claim that a lot of, your wrist and your arms like this have something to do with it, they claim. And then they also say that your neck has something to do with it. And there's places on my neck, like right about there, I can barely stand it on my neck. I mean, it hurts so bad. I mean, like, it's almost crying pain. It hurts that bad. So I worked that out for the longest time. I might have to use that for 15, 20 minutes, just keep doing it. But really, that's all I do. I just rub it around and just, that's all I do. There's nothing real spectacular, but it definitely helps. I mean, and I'm not kidding you. I'll say it again, and I've tried hundreds of things, not just a couple like most people. I've tried hundreds of things because you guys have suggested hundreds of things. Not one single thing has helped. Not at all. Not that much, except for this. And the meloxicam helps to some degree, but it's pretty much over now. I mean, I'm way past the meloxicam now in terms of pain. The meloxicam used to knock it down completely. I didn't even feel any pain. Not anymore. Let's see. But I don't know if, I think the weather has a whole lot to do with it. The last couple of days hadn't been too terribly bad, even though it did rain a lot over the weekend. That's really the reason I started doing this, was because the rain was so heavy Saturday. I said, well, heck with it. I'm just going to go ahead and bite the bullet and make this thing. Now, let me also say that from another perspective, and you've already heard me say this last week, I think, on that gun site was the example, is that, no, the hours I'm spending to make this, it would cost $1,000 to buy this if you counted it by the hours. That's not the point at all. The point is, I need something I can count on. Now I'll be able to count on it. I also need to make video content for you all, and the video will make me money. So over the long haul, it really will pay for this thing. So, I mean, it's a win-win-win-win-win all the way around for me. Even though it may not make any sense at all to do what I'm doing, it still makes sense to me. So just let you know. Moving on down, I don't see any question marks. Simon's been going through some lousy weather, it looks like, there in Scotland. Wavy Gravy says, last week I was honored when they gave me the key to the city. The very next day, everybody changed their locks. Well, if I lived there, I'd probably do that too. Let's see. BH Stringer, please hit that thumbs up button. Yeah. And subscribe. It really helps the channel, and it's free. And that is 100% true. It does help the channel, and it is free. And, I'd appreciate it if you would do that. Just try to always just click a thumbs up. I don't mean just for me. I mean, if you're watching somebody's video that they spent an hour, it's an hour-long video or something you're watching. Well, you can bet they spent probably a full day, if not 2 days, on that video, making that video. So click the thumbs up, and it's the truth. It takes, I guarantee you, 100%, you can believe what you want, guarantee you that making the video on this is going to take me twice as long as it took to make this. And this took a long time to make. Guarantee you. You can believe what you want. I got no reason to lie to you. It's just the fact. it takes forever to edit videos. Yeah, it's just nuts. It's way different than you would think. Donnie Hildebrand, for Thursday concert, could you play Whiskey Lullaby? Thank you. Well, no, that's not the one I've been practicing, but I'll practice that one back up because I do have that one committed to memory now, I think. Although I kind of forgot about that one, to be honest with you, because I've been learning that on the other hand. I've got the on the other hand down now, and I can do that on the other hand, I think, now too. I really like that song. It's just really well written. The subject matter, is a little on the iffy side, but but it's just a well written song, and it's just a good one. It flows good, I sometimes I separate the message from the music and the I don't know, the way you sing a song and stuff. It's a good song to sing. It's a good song to play, all of that. And the message, it's talking about the potential of cheating on your spouse. But then again, it's talking about the wedding band is keeping him from doing that, so it's sort of good. You kind of got to stretch it a little bit. Bill Webb. Let's see. Wait a minute. Back up. Sidecar Bob says, I have a smaller version of a broad axe hanging in my shop. I may never use it, but it is neat to have. Yeah, that one there, I was just surprised. We were at the Christmas, the annual Christmas gathering with my mother's side of the family, and my aunt came up to me and she says, I'd like for you to have this. You're the person that makes the most sense in the family to own this, with my lifestyle and the way we live here, everybody else is pretty much in the city and, that kind of thing. So it does make sense to have the broad axe here in that regard, but I'm also just honored to have it because of who it belonged to. Let's see. Dottie says for Thursday. Okay, play Whiskey Lullaby. I'll try to remember that one, Dottie. I'll do that. Let me write it down here so I don't forget. I should always get a blank piece of paper before I start these things. Whiskey Lullaby. Okay, and let's see. Matteo, my Italian friend, he's going to be here. I don't know if it's into this week or next week, but when he comes in, I'm going to try to get him on the vlog for at least for a little while so you guys can meet him. He's a really cool guy. He's just a cool guy. Let's see. Bill Webb says, good afternoon, Jerry and friends from the rainy Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Wow. Yeah. I think there was one time we almost got booked at Eureka Springs. We didn't end up with it, unfortunately. And then Wavy Gravy says, I just read a book my doctor recommended. It's entitled Uncontrolled High Cholesterol by Doctors Lotta Bacon, Eaton, Lard, and Chester Payne. Heart Hurts, and illustrated by Barry Usoon. I tell you what, man, as far as I'm concerned, bacon, that's health food. There's just nothing better than bacon. And eggs, there's no such thing as high cholesterol and all that stuff. It's all made up. That's just to keep people from enjoying what they eat. That's all made up. I'm telling you, you can't believe that stuff. Let's see. Dottie says, nice job on the knife. It even looks sharp. I'm telling you right now, and I truly, as I want to be clear, I didn't even try to make it sharp. I was just working it down, cleaning it up and getting it ready. And I'm seriously telling you, it'll already cut you. and I haven't even tried to sharpen it. So I'm so excited at the fact that finally I have a knife that I can sharpen, you know. See, and the other reason I didn't want to go back to Hogue is what could they do? You know, would they give me a brand new blade? Well, it'd still be stainless steel. What would that prove, or what would that help? And again, to the man who gave me that knife, I love that knife. Trust me, I am so thankful to have it. I use it every single day, but it just doesn't hold an edge, and it never will with stainless steel. That's at least not the way I use it, you know. And I fully admit I more abuse than use, but that's okay. That's just the way I use a knife. Robert Davis says, hey, Jerry, on that North Korean ship, I don't know the facts, but I saw something this morning stating that China and Russia had built that ship for them. Seems odd to me that that's what I read. Yeah, well, I think for sure I read something about that Russia was involved. I didn't hear about the China part, but I did hear that Russia was involved with it. And I think there was some agreement that North Korea was supposed to help with the war in Ukraine, you know. So that was part of the deal, I think, to build the ship. But can you imagine that crazy SOB son of a gun guy? You know, he's just flipping nuts. I mean, he's nuts. And can you imagine the punishment those guys are going to get that caused that ship to fail? Oh, because it embarrassed him. You know, it's a worldwide embarrassment. There's no, I mean, they'll probably be skinned alive. I mean, there's no end to the torture that guy has. He's a scuzz bucket from where they come from. Dottie Hildebrand, Phil from Duck Commander passed away on, oh man, well, that's sad. I did not know that. Doggone it. Bill Mumbo. Yeah, I always liked the Duck Commander show. I don't know. There's a little, you know, kind of hokey type of. They always hoked it up for the TV set, you know. But overall, I enjoyed those guys. Bill Mumbo. Thanks, Jerry. That's exactly the same as yours, and I massage the knots on my palms and wrists. Yeah. It's amazing what this thing will do. It really is. I got to give credit to Gary Haven, you know, the big guitar player that plays with us. He was the one that suggested. In fact, he loaned me his. He says, take this and try it on your hands. Well, I'll be honest. It was like 10 days before I tried it. I thought, oh, man, that's not going to feel good. I was afraid it was going to hurt. I really was, because my hands were killing me at that time. And I was just blown away when it didn't hurt. In fact, it actually helped. Now, when I put that thing on my neck here, it almost brings tears to my eyes in places. I mean, it hurts that bad. But I keep it working it, you know, and over a period of 15, 20 minutes, it'll ease up. So I would recommend that if you're old and you got aches and pains, I'd recommend you get one of these things. And they're cheap. And I have a link to one on my website if you want to, you know, see which one I got. Well, and actually, I don't think the one I have is on there anymore, quite honestly. Well, it might be this one, because this is the second one I got. The first one, Sue absconded with. She took it, and she's using it all the time. And so I took this one, or I bought another one. Let's see. Bill Mumbo, every video, I click the thumbs up, Jerry. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Mike Bennett, Jerry, I'd like to request If We Make It Through December. That's a great song. That seriously is, well, I'd have to say that probably is my favorite Merle song for sure. And it's one of my all-time favorites, period. I love that song. And I'll tell you the one thing about If We Make It Through December, it's got about as many chords as any song does, man. That sucker has a lot of chords. So I'll try to explain it when I play it, but it's not simple. If we make it through December.
I love that song. That seriously is a great song. Okay. Bill Mumbo. Okay. He doesn't have any question marks there. Wavy Gravy says, one book I keep meaning to read, but just can't start it. Please follow instructions by Turner Disaway, follow her up good, and Lefty Right, illustrated by Dat Wong Wei. That's a hard one to read right there, especially for a guy like me. Well, anyway. Well, that probably brings us to the end of this one. I appreciate y'all being here. We've lost some viewers. We had 130-something a little while ago. I guess they don't like my shenanigans. Anyway, I will be back with something else tomorrow. Try to have a little more video content for you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have the knife finished and I can give you a final report on that. Plus, I'll be working on that video before too long, and that's going to be, I'm dreading that video because there's a lot of footage on that one. Ben Boyd, I have a few Benchmade knives. Don't one what steel they use, but mine seems to hold an edge and are reasonably durable. Well, the truth is, well, I don't know about Benchmade. I don't know. So, different knife companies will make different steels in their blades. So that I know too. And it's possible that Hogue has a replacement blade for this that's high carbon steel. But seriously, if you use a knife the way I use a knife, and I just flat tell you, I don't use it your traditional standard little way, like cutting a string here and cutting a string there. I literally cut metal with it. I mean, I do anything and everything I can anytime I need. You know, if I'm doing something and I'm in the middle of something, I just grab that knife and use it. And yeah, they don't hold up like that. And stainless steel don't hold up at all. It just don't. This, I'll be able to cut the birds out of copper, and this thing will just laugh at it. It won't even know what happened. It's just the way it is. High carbon steel is strong stuff. It's right there next to steel. Well, it's in some ways it'll be stronger than, say, like a drill bit. You know, and like you're talking about, that's made out of. I can't think of the kind of steel that is right now. Tool steel. So it's right next to tool steel. In fact, I had a tool steel milling cutter, and it would not cut that pocket. It would not cut that pocket. That's how hard this stuff is. So I finally went to my Dremel, and I've got a couple of I don't know what kind of cutters they are, but they're super hard. And like I said, I can only cut the depth of a piece of paper at a time, and that's all I could cut. And it took a lot of passes, but I got her done, you know. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Memorial Day. Thanks for being here. We will see you tomorrow, hopefully with something even better. We'll see you then.